Have you watched Terry McMillan's Preach, Pray, Love on Lifetime? Well, there's some things that I want to break down and talk to you about from a licensed therapist perspective with a Christian therapist twist. So let's get right into it. Before I do, put in the comment section, what did you think about Preach, Pray, Love? Because I'm gonna give my perspective, my personal perspective on it towards the end of this video. So make sure to stay to the end to hear what I have to say about that too. But the first thing that we have to talk about is how God can help and change anybody. I mean, Charlie went from being this self-entitled rapper, everybody knows me, I'm that girl in the industry, to being humbled real quick when she had to go to jail and serve community service. And she was doing all the things. She was drinking and driving, she was having sex, she was smoking, she was doing all of the things, which is what basically led her to jail in the first place. And I feel like it was a divinely orchestrated setup, because in the community service is when she met PK. But let's talk about how she said this one simple prayer that changed everything for her. She simply said, God, help me. And when she said that towards the beginning of this movie, I was like, oh yeah, God is about to help her for real. And the first thing that she did once she got out of jail is she went to church. She was like, let me go to the Peachtree City of Faith because I need to get reconnected with God. And that's exactly what she did. When she said that God help me prayer, God was like, oh, I'm about to help you. It's going to require you to have a lifestyle shift and a lifestyle change. And the second thing that I want to talk about is how change impacts other people, not just you. So think about all her friends. B. Simone, I think it was Ray Janae Carter, which is Lil Wayne's daughter. Like, everybody was in this movie. The Brad, Kyle from Living Single. I mean, everybody was in here. I said, okay, I see this cast. But when she started to change and get closer with God and get connected with him, her friendships started to change too. She didn't want to drink anymore. She didn't want to smoke anymore. She didn't want to turn up. She didn't want to be with all of the men like her other two friends wanted to do. And they was like, girl, you tripping. Why are you going off? Like, what's wrong with you? You changed. And she was like, I just don't have a desire to do those things anymore. And that's what happens when God starts to really prick your heart. He starts to shift and change your preferences, your wants, your needs, and your desires, and them taste buds. And not only does change impact other people, but you also may lose other people on the journey too. Remember when she started wanting to change her lyrics and have her lyrics be more God-based or Christian-based, more holy and not about the ratchetness, she lost her label, they dropped her. She also lost her manager too. Sometimes when we start to lose things, we get sad by that and we want to hold on to it so much. But what God is trying to do is he's trying to switch, change, and rearrange you for his glory. And I love how PK, the pastor, did not judge her from day one. He never said, well, she's just like this stereotypical rapper, she's whatever, or put her into this little box. He didn't judge her. And I think that's what a lot of Christians and people of faith, we do wrong, right? We typically side-eyeing somebody. Oh, she in church, what's she doing here? Is there a motive? And he was just like, everybody deserves salvation. Everybody deserves to be connected and have a better relationship with God, whether they have money, fame, notoriety, or not. But before we move on, it has come to my attention that only about 4 to 5% of you guys who watch my videos are subscribed to my channel, and we have to get that number way up. So if you are enjoying this video or any of my other ones, it would mean the world to me if you simply just click that subscribe button, hit the notification tab, because that does help me to create videos like this for you every single week. Now let's get back to it. Obviously, PK and Charlie had two completely different lifestyles. He in the church preaching the word of God, and she over there like twerking, you know, doing all of the things. And I said, ooh, I don't know how this little relationship is going to work. But eventually it wound up working out really well. And I think it lends to a powerful testimony. I love testimonies of severe, extreme redemption. Like the people who we counted out, the people who was like, nope, you could never get reconnected with God. You done. It's a wrap. The world will throw you away. When those people get reconnected with God and God's like, no, you're my daughter. No, you're my son. And I will go to the ends of the earth to get you. I love those powerful testimonies. And I think Charlie had just that very same story. In regards to her relationship with PK is that he really pursued her. If you really think about it, he didn't care what anybody else was saying about her. He was like, I love her. I care about her. When I'm with her, I feel good. I'm enjoying her company. me. And there's nothing wrong with that. Haters gonna hate every single time. And boy, did they have haters. Not only did he have haters, what was the other pastor, Pastor McCabe or whatever, he had the other pastor at the other church hating on him, but also too, social media. Every time they would hang out, every time they would kiss, every time they would be seen together in public, it would go viral. And I can only imagine that that puts extra pressure on people's relationships when they have to experience what the outsiders and social media followers and strangers have to say when they don't really know them at all. So when PK went by how he felt versus what other people had to say, I think Charlie saw a different side of him compared to maybe some of the other men that she used to date previously. And I'm not gonna hold you. PK flirted quickly. Obviously, she's seen him at the jail, right? We know that, but she didn't formally meet him, so to speak, until they were sitting on them little stoops at the church when she was trying to get the little vegetables that she was supposed to get from doing her community service, and he put on that little knitted hair knit. I said, oh, he flirting right here. He flirting. And it wasn't long after that he was like, you want to get some coffee? I said, oh, he bold with it. There's a lot of single Black women in the church, right, who's looking for a good man. And you know, PK was nice on the eyes. He wasn't an ugly man. So for him to be single and in a position of being a pastor of a church, and you know how people say, like, you're not supposed to be single, you're supposed to be married, all of those things. Like, I think it put him in a very weird situation, and also the members of his church too. Because what do you do when you have a single pastor that's fine? But if they are truly going to honor God, and as I like to say, honor God with your body, meaning abstaining from having sexual intercourse or any type of sexual activity, that's a hard place to be in. Because what I think they failed to do was implement more stronger boundaries. Yes, during their courtship or during their dating phase. They did a whole bunch of kissing. They did a whole bunch of late night sitting by the fires. They did a whole bunch of touching. They did a whole bunch. She spent the night at his house. I get it. It was for a safety reason because there was a storm. I understand that. But also too, that was a very sticky situation because that could have turned real ugly real quick, right? And it's like, yeah, they slept in 2 separate rooms, but anything could have happened that night, right? And especially when you are a man of faith and have that level of notoriety. And also too, when you are a woman, it's kind of like, ooh, this is not a good look. So I'm not one of those people who are like, 2 people should never kiss. Like, I actually have a friend who did not kiss her husband until they got to the altar. I'm not about that life, okay? You gonna kiss me before we get married. In all actuality, I don't think there's anything wrong with them kissing and hanging out and getting to know one another, but I think the boundaries were very sketchy. And if this was real life, I feel like they probably would have fell into fornication and to sin. I'm not trying to judge anybody because nobody is perfect, but when you are truly trying to live for Christ, you have to put physical, emotional, all different types of boundaries in place, especially when you're dating, and especially when you're dating somebody that's fine, because the flesh wants what the flesh wants, and the flesh is weak. That's what the word says. So my final thoughts on this is that I thought this was a really good and a cute movie. I mean, I'm not necessarily watch a whole bunch of Lifetime movie type of person, but I know that they have a series going on with his, hers, and ours. Preach, Pray, Love, He Wasn't Man Enough, and I think Friends and Lovers is a part of this Black love thing that they got going on right now with Lifetime, and I'm absolutely watching all of those. I had to give this, I mean, it is a Lifetime movie, so I feel like Lifetime movies aren't always like, this is the best movie ever as far as like production goes and all of those things. So I would give this a solid 8.5, if I'm being honest with you. It kept my attention. I was intrigued. I loved the storyline. I loved all of the characters. They had a whole bunch of celebrities and Brat and everybody was in this movie. And I said, okay, I'm here for this. Only thing that annoyed my soul was Karuchi's rapping. I was like, sis, no. I know this is a movie, but it's a no for me, dog. Thank you so much for watching another review on my channel. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Be blessed. Bye.